lot of things that are just different than what we maybe.
Yeah. Let's just put it this way. In Spanish or in Mexico, when someone says ahorita, like when someone says right now, that means maybe tomorrow.
Good afternoon, amigos from Mexico City, and more specifically, today we're in Chapultepec. If you're new around here, I'm Hillary Olahuera, and
Goyo, or Greg the Gringo.
And if you like watching two gringos live and learn on a daily adventure in Mexico, consider subscribing. Now, if you've seen a lot of our videos, you've probably seen we've been in Chapultepec, we've shown the castle, we've shown the forest, and today we brought Greg's family here to take them to the castle, so we're not going to show you guys that again. Instead, we're talking all about expectations and how those may be a little different for first-timers in Mexico. Number one is the pan dulce and how it is widely accepted to eat sweetbread anytime, day or night. Greg's mom,
as many pieces as you can fit.
Greg's mom is a new sweetbread addict, and we've been to the panaderia, I guess,
like
only
twice a day, every day.
Yes.
Well, it's been 2 days. We've gone like 4 times.
So thing number one that may not be as you may have expected is the acceptance, and it's perfectly fine to eat sweetbread any time of day.
What is this? So my family being in town really sparked a lot of ideas of things that are normal to Hillary and I that aren't normal to people outside of Mexico City, or at least outside of Mexico. Thing number two, to offset all the pan dulce, or kind of going with the pan dulce in a way, is just the sheer amount of walking you do when you're in the city, especially when you're sightseeing. But for Hillary and I, we're pretty used to walking everywhere and that just being a mode of transportation. But with my family, I've been very aware of how much it's just not normal to walk this much. It's probably not even this normal in other Mexican cities. I think it's definitely a Chilangolandia kind of thing, but it doesn't help it. We're definitely reminded of it as we're walking up to Castillo de Chapultepec, because it's a good little incline.
Next thing on the list that we are used to and other Mexicans may be used to, but guests and other gringos may not be used to, is the intensity of the heat and altitude, especially here in Mexico City. I think the temperature can be somewhat deceiving. We're above 8,000 feet and the sun feels a lot more intense than maybe other places. I know in Puerto Vallarta, we weren't as high of altitude, we were close to sea level. However, the humidity was very deceiving. So the temperature could be 80 degrees here in Mexico City, it could be 80 in Vallarta, and that probably feels completely different than 80 degrees anywhere in the States. So,
and I think the confusing thing is knowing how to pack for that, and the fact that we're not quite used to this yet, but Mexicans, it'll be 90 in Vallarta wearing jeans, or
a light sweater.
85 here in La Ciudad and not sweating at all. But just know the temperature is deceiving. We're slowly getting used to it.
Let's go get some water.
Yes. What,
okay.
Did you have a confession?
Next thing is we would never buy chips. Before we moved to Mexico, we would never buy chips, much less spicy chips.
Chips, candy, water,
off the streets.
Pretty much anything from vendors. It was foreign to us.
Street vendor, they have the best chips.
We could just be making that up, but I really do feel like something from like little vendor stalls, como este. For some reason, the candy, the drinks, the chips, is so much better. I don't know where they get their stuff. I don't know how they sell it for the prices they do, but son deliciosos. And just a side note, you all would be proud of my mom because she loves these chips, she loved the street candy we got, and she loves mole sauce.
And pan dulce.
And pan dulce, she's addicted to this. What is it? The candied dessert molletes, the like buttered sweetbread. Oh man, she's probably more Mexican than us, I think. That ice cream was amazing. A little expensive, but amazing. Just bought these cold boobaloo-boos right off the streets, amigos. That's how we roll. Okay, we have Minetsu Latino Americana. My next point on our adventure over here, walking from Chapultepec to Carrama Norte, and then getting an Uber here, is that walking in Mexico, maybe it's just Mexico City, certain areas, you just have to do it in a very particular fashion. Weta, Hill, come show us how you cross the street in Mexico. I don't know if that's really it, but if there's not a stop sign or if cars are just coming and coming, you kind of just like...
Yeah, that was this part.
You kind of just poke your head out, you do that number, and then you kind of
say a quick prayer.
And then usually there'll be a guy that kind of like waves or is like, kind of gives you like some type of hand signal. You're doing one of these and you just go. You just kind of have to go for it here. And I think if you're a gringo coming from the States, if you wait
for the walk sign,
if you wait for the walk sign, you're gonna be waiting for a while. You just gotta be brave, amigos.
The next thing the amigos and me have on our list of things that we're used to and guests aren't is the sounds of Mexico. For example, when Greg's mom first got into town, she said something along the lines of, they play music at a pharmacy?
She was so mad because she didn't sleep well and she didn't know what the heck was going on outside.
She was wondering what rap music was happening.
What did she text us?
And it was the pharmacy. Do they have a noise ordinance here?
My naive madre.
Campano se compra colchones. With the sounds of downtown, especially with the cops, with whistles and honking and tamales oaxaqueños. Greg and I are accustomed to these sounds and we've known to grow and love them, but guests from out of town, it's often funny to hear them thinking, what is that?
We're starting to realize how not normal it really is.
How not normal we are.
Speaking of the sound of cops' whistles downtown, I think one thing that definitely surprised my mom, she mentioned it and surprised us, the amount of cops, especially in Centro Histórico, can be a little surprising / shocking at first. Now, you know, it doesn't ever feel like, just feels more normal to Hillary and I, but it can be a little alarming downtown when you see cops with riot gear and aggressive looking weapons, but it's just, again, it's nothing good nor bad, I suppose. Neither, we're not passing judgment on it by any means, but definitely something that extremely surprising to us. Even in Vallarta, there was seemed to be a pretty heavy police force, a military force that was quite shocking at first. ¿Dónde estamos?
Okay, we have made it to El Cardinal, which brings us to talking about food. And Greg's little sister pointed out that things don't taste quite like she has expected them to taste. So the Mexican food hasn't tasted quite like what she got, and she ordered hot chocolate, which was completely different. And I think our taste buds are accustomed to the way things taste in Mexico, and theirs are still accustomed to the way things taste in the United States.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting, your expectations of Mexican food or even things like hot chocolate are a little bit different. Greg
Sometimes it's the simple stuff, whether it's candy or just being used to Tex-Mex versus Mexican food, I think. But enough talking. Let's get to it.
Eating.
Okay, amigos, we have had a long, fun day full of Chapultepec ice cream, El Cardinal.
Castles.
What else?
Food. We have sweetbread when we go home waiting on us.
Oh, yeah, we do. My mom is addicted to that stuff. And it brings us to our last point. We're sitting here waiting for our two-picture custom picture frames, and it just didn't quite work out timing-wise, and when it was gonna get done, and
How long it might take.
all that stuff just didn't quite work out the way we were told and the way we expected. But that is something, that's probably like the most important lesson we've learned about living here in Mexico and successfully living in Mexico,
Yeah.
is that you really have to learn to go with the flow. You
Yeah,
really
there
have
are
to learn.
misunderstandings as far as time, and for example, the Wi-Fi on our internet's the Wi-Fi in our apartment isn't working, and the hot water heater is a little tricky.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are a lot of things that are just different than what we maybe.
Yeah, let's just put it this way. In Spanish, or in Mexico, when someone says ahorita, like when someone says right now, that means maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Feel free to tear me apart if that translation is wrong, but I've been studying Spanish. I think I've got ahorita
Y
down.
más o menos 30 minutos
Es
equals.
quizás mañana.
Sí.
So we have learned a lot. All this, again, was I just thought about with my family in town of things that we don't really think
Yeah.
about, but then as we're showing them around, I'm thinking, well, this is kind of weird that we're doing this or seeing this or eating this or showing them this, but to us it's completely normal. Let us know what things to you are also like
Out of the
strange,
ordinary.
or what things are strange about the States. Whenever you move to
Yeah.
the States, what were things that are like
This is
nonsensical?
not normal.
But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed our little different adventure day, a mix of us talking, a mix of our adventures. I think, is that all we
I think
have?
that's it.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel, click the bell that we get notified
Every time.
we upload a new video, and we will see you when?
Quizás mañana. Sí.
If our internet works.
Adios.